What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of U4 Demon Slayer Season 3. This is episode 4, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
So, one thing I want to bring up is, obviously, there's some numerous complaints about that CG fish monster that was shown to us in the last episode. I mean, to me, it didn't look that bad. I mean, we've seen worse CG models in anime, than this one. Right. I mean, I'm not saying this was really bad. To be honest, I think the CG model, shown in this episode and the last episode, I think it kind of blended well with the environment, and I think that was kind of the point. Because most of the other series that we've seen, like I think that one tortoise monster from Rising of the Shield Hero was kind of one example of bad CG, thrown into an animated environment. This, of course, like. It's not just the the CG fish monster, but also most of the backgrounds and environment was also part CG as well. If anyone's noticed.
Yeah, well, Ufotable has always kind of had a history of using CG in their anime, so it's not really anything new for them. We've seen them do it before. Usually it's not bad. I mean, it's noticeable, but it's not bad. I just feel like most of the time whenever CG is implemented into an anime, the internet usually tends to overreact about it, even though it's really not as bad as most people make it out to be.
I mean,
there are some instances where it's like, yeah, it is pretty terrible, but here I think it's mostly fine. It's a little bit distracting, but I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I've seen worse examples of it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just the CG model that they used for this creature. Like I said, it blended well with the environment, and not to mention it fits with this. It also had some amounts of shading and lighting that fits the nighttime environment as well.
Yeah. Well, obviously too, the fish creature must have come from the pot demon, because as we see, there is a pot on top of it.
Tokito tries to cut off its head, but of course it regenerates, so he notices immediately that its only weakness is, of course, the little vase or the pot on its back. So he immediately slashes it, and then, of course, it immediately kills the thing. And of course, Kotetsu is, of course, grateful for Tokito helping him out. And this leads, of course, into a conversation where apparently Tokito flashes back to a time when he was first found by the Demon Slayer Grandmaster. Apparently, he's suffering from some sort of amnesia from the past.
Yeah, so we get a little bit about his character, but not too much. The amnesia thing's interesting, but it's also pretty cliche, and we've seen it done 1,000 times in anime. So, but I am kind of curious as to why he has amnesia in the first place. Maybe it's something plot relevant as to why he might have amnesia.
Yeah, I mean, I could make a couple guesses, but we kind of get hints as to why he's called the Mist Hashira, is because the Grandmaster points out that in order to regain your memories, you have to go through the mist of sorts. So it's kind of why he got the title in the first place. So of course, Tokito brings Kotetsu along with him to run back to the village to help fend off the demon attack that's currently attacking the village. So we go back to where Tanjiro and the others are, and Tanjiro is, of course, fighting one of the 4 demon forms. I think it was like it's four different demon forms. I think one represents rage, sorrow, happy, joy.
Anger.
I forgot the other. Anger, yeah.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, rage would be
rage is anger. Yeah.
So rage, joy, sorrow, and I think that's it, because I can't. I think there was 4, but I don't know what the other one was.
Yeah, I think Tanjiro was fighting the joy demon, the one that with a harpy, like the winged version of the demon. So Tanjiro in the last episode, he tries cutting off the miniaturized version of the demon, but it once again splits in 2, and Tanjiro notices that each split off version of the demon gets weaker each time. So Tanjiro's plan is, I guess, is to continuously decapitate or split up this demon to, I don't know how many times they would need to do it, but I guess that's their only way to supposedly beat this demon.
Yeah, it is kind of complicated because the demon continually replicates itself or just regenerates every time you cut it.
Yeah, and of course Tanjiro has enormous amounts of trouble trying to get this guy because he keeps flying around and slashing him at every opportunity. And then the episode kind of shifts back and forth between Tanjiro and the others. We see Nezuko is currently trying to fight off one of the demons, while we see Genya, who's apparently impaled by, I think it was one of the Sorrow demons. But of course, Genya, of course, brings out his sawed-off shotgun again and tries shooting his head off. But of course, he regenerates before his head completely lops off. And then, of course, whenever Genya tries to either slash or shoot one of the demons off, the Rage Demon uses his staff to conjure up lightning to pretty much incapacitate not only just Genya, but also Nezuko as well.
Yeah, Nezuko was currently trying to hold off, I forget which one it was. Was it the Sorrow Demon, I think?
I forgot which version it was. It's the green version of this demon.
Yeah.
But yeah, she manages to I guess fend them off a little bit and then steal his fan weapon to blow him away for the time. But like I said, it's the Rage Demon incapacitates her by literally just stabbing his entire staff through her neck and then nearly shocking her to death.
Yeah, but she does end up using, I guess, her burning blood technique on him, which is pretty effective.
Yeah, but it doesn't take until Tanjiro getting back there with the Joy Demon to at least help Nezuko free from the staff.
And Tanjiro uses the basically strategizes to get back there by using that demon to fly back over there by just at the right time, I guess, stabbing the demon in its leg so he can just use it as a way to travel back, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, and of course he uses one of its limbs as a way. Apparently, its limbs or its body parts is resistant to the Rage Demon's electrical attacks, so he uses it as a way to block the electrical attacks and pull out the staff from Nezuko's neck.
I also found it interesting how what was it? Genya mainly his main weapon is just using a gun instead of. I mean, he uses a sword too, but he seems to mainly use the sawed-off shotgun as his weapon, and it seems surprisingly effective against demons. Also, every time he gets hurt, he chants some kind of I guess you'd say some kind of a sutra or some kind of chant to either give him. I don't know what it does. I guess it either helps to heal him or gives him some kind of power. It's not really clear, but every time he chants it, it's he has this he's just completely rejuvenated.
Yeah, it's not clear if it's some kind of religion that he practices or if it's something that he trains with. But yeah, it's not really clear how what he does with with that kind of ability. But yeah, he's still pretty effective with whatever arsenal that he currently has. But we go back to Tanjiro and Nezuko. But as soon as they're literally about to gain the advantage, I think the Green Demon comes in and then just basically just swats them with his fan and then just incapacitates both of them, just pretty much knocking them both out cold. I'm surprised. I know Tanjiro, but I'm also surprised Nezuko is also completely knocked out cold as well, considering the fact that she this is one of her more powerful forms.
Well, she'd also been stabbed quite a few times before this too. So I don't know. I know she can, of course, regenerate, but I feel like she's probably weakened by that.
Yeah, I mean, she can. I mean, she got an entire foot like stabbed through her abdomen, but as well as like getting her what was it, her right arm ripped off, but then it quickly regenerates. I mean, well, just to point out, like this is like this demon is a more powerful version than the one she faced in the last season. What was it, Daki and Gyutaro, because they were ranked
these
5.
They're supposed to be in the upper 4 rank of demons, so yeah, they're definitely much more formidable. I'm assuming, at least.
Yeah, I mean, like Nezuko is still literally trying to hold her own, but she's dealing with like 3 other demons while fighting, while she was fighting one. So and plus the fact that she never fought Gyutaro during the events of the second season. So like, she had no problem just dealing with only Daki herself. But I'm guessing like if she was involved with the fight against Gyutaro, maybe she would have had some trouble then.
Yeah. Also, at the same time, we have the village being attacked by a horde of these fish demons, and of course, as we pointed out, they're all CG, which I'm guessing that was the reason why they made the first one we saw CG, was because in the scene they were, there's multiples of them, and as you might know, it's a lot more difficult to animate, or to, I guess, animate like multiple like hand drawn like things on the screen at once, sort of. So that's kind of why a lot of animators usually use CG, is to kind of get around that. So they, because it's typically a lot more work, I suppose, to do that. But I didn't really have a problem with this. Of course, I kind of expect a lot of people on the internet to once again complain about it, because they did in the last episode when they saw the fish. It really isn't that bad to me. I mean, like I said, I thought it's a little bit distracting. Yeah, it could be better, but it was serviceable, I guess. Like, Ufotable's done this before. They have used CG in other series. I mean, I think a prime example probably is actually damn, I don't know why it's slipping my mind right now. The God Eater. I think they used a lot of CG in that too. But it kind of looks similar to how it does here. And I mean, I do feel like, I guess, a criticism I kind of have of them is I wish their CG kind of would have improved since then, because that show came out a while ago. And it kind of does remind me of that, the way it looks here. But I mean, it was mostly fine in that. It just could have used some work. Same thing could be said for the use of CG here.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just like, the creatures that are CG, but it's most of their environments that are also part CG as well. When they like when you see them rotate the camera during like very fast or extreme battle sequences, like they also did this numerous times during the Fate Stay Night series as well,
right?
Especially like Heaven's Feel.
This is something that happens with a lot of anime studios, though. Like when there's something moving fast, or they're panning a camera around an environment, they'll use a CG environment. Sometimes they don't, but most of the time I feel like they do, because I mean I've seen other studios use that exact same technique.
Yeah, I mean, majority of the time we've seen like Ufotable do these sequences. I mean, they pretty much nail it on the spot, to near perfection. Like, I think they do. I personally, I think they do CG a little bit better than most other studios that we've seen so far before. I think Mappa kind of gets a slight second there due to how well they've done Chainsaw Man a few months ago. So I mean,
Mappa is, at least, like, I've noticed them improve with their CG, because if you compare the first season of Attack on Titan, the final season, to the second half, it has definitely had a noticeable improvement.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, over time, like, there's some, like I said, some studios do better than most others. But yeah, I think Ufotable, I think, is one of the better ones that that try to handle their CG at least most of the time very well. But yeah, so during the attack, we see the Love Hashira Mitsuri, of course, get wind of the attack happening, and so of course the episode ends with her heading over there, and then pretty much like I said, that's where the episode ends from there. Which honestly, I'm surprised it ended in in such a cliffhanger like that.
Yeah. I don't know. That was an okay episode. Pretty good fight scenes. More of just a, more of what we saw in the last episode, where it's just, just kind of more of this fight scene between Tanjiro, Genya, Nezuko, and then these the upper four demons, as well as the pot demon as well, unleashing these fish creatures everywhere. I guess it's going to be interesting to see what the Love Hashira is going to be able to do in combat, because I don't really think we've seen too much of her fighting before, so I'm kind of interested to see what her abilities are.
I mean, other than the times when we see her in the opening, but
yeah,
I mean, we already got numerous hints of that and how her fighting ability works. But I mean, we'll really get to see her actually fight for the first time in the show's history.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about the episode. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
It was pretty good action heavy episode. I mean, like I said before, it's like I'm actually still surprised that we're seeing this amount of action like literally on the 4th episode. I'm like I said last week, I'm curious to see like if this entire battle between the Demon Slayers and the 2 upper ranked demons is pretty much going to last throughout maybe the entirety of this season. Possibly if it's going to last maybe 11 or 12 episodes.
Yeah, I feel like it'd just be too drawn out if it does. I don't mind there being episodes of just straight up, fight scenes, but I'd also like to see some kind of character development or plot progression happen in the arc, aside from just the constant fighting, which is kind of what Entertainment District was just like really just a big fight scene, if anything. I mean, it did kind of course, develop the one of the Hashiras, but which was kind of interesting, but aside from that, it was just a really big fight scene, if anything.
I always noticed in the past 3, pretty much, ever since like the Mugen Train arc, every time they do like these big fight scenes, they always insert like a flashback sequence of each of the major characters. Like we seen one for the Flame Hashira, Rengoku. We see one for for the Sound Hashira in their Entertainment District arc. Now we're getting little hints of that with Tokito. Apparently, like he's experiencing like some amount of amnesia, and we'll likely get something else with the Love Hashira as well, Mitsuri. So, yeah. I don't kind of mind it. I just hope it doesn't, break up the act. I mean, it kind of does break up the action just a little bit in between sequences. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, like it, it'll be done pretty well, just like in the other ones.
Yeah, guys. But that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.